Andy Slavitt, a former acting administrator for the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Andy, thanks for joining in here. You're not a fan of the Ryan bill, I know that, but would you agree with those that say the current Obamacare bill or system as it stands is just not workable, that it is, you know, for all intents and purposes, in collapse?
No, it's not in collapse. I think every objective look at the bill, at Obamacare, would tell you a couple things. It would tell you it's made enormous progress in about 4 years' time. It would tell you that it could use some surgical fixes to increase competition. It takes management. That's what we did for the last few years, and as a result, we insured 20 million new people. We managed costs to the lowest level of cost growth in a long time. And I think there's plenty to build on here. I think we need is a collaborative spirit where people look at the things that are working and keep them going, and look at the things that need improving, and work together to work on those things. It's not very complicated. It's just a little bit of math.
It does seem complicated, Ron, does it not? When you've got, premiums skyrocketing like 116% in Arizona. You've got down to one health insurer in Minnesota and Arizona. I mean, it doesn't sound healthy to me.
It doesn't sound healthy. When you look at a majority of the counties in the United States, 1 out of 3, they only have one choice, one option, one insurer. So we have reduced the amount of care that people have. We've increased their premiums. We've taken them to a point where they can't get the doctor that they want. And yet the Democrats hail this that the Republicans are trying to do something to them. The Democrats passed this bill. The Democrats got us in this mess. Republicans need to get us out of it.
Very quickly, Fox News also reporting that Speaker Paul Ryan pulled the bill on the request by President Trump. President Trump
which
telling
is crazy,
the Speaker,
considering 24 hours ago Trump said we have to have the vote,
yes,
regardless. And that again kind of just inspires a sense of who do we got calling the shots there?
Yeah.
So, if you're a House Republican.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it, Ron? Comment on that. He basically set the ultimatum. I'm walking away. It's up to you now. But we'll know who votes and who doesn't for this, but I want this voted on.
This is why every word, every sentence, every tweet that the president comes out with carries meaning, and it has power. If you take away the power, if you say that this is an ultimatum, the line's been crossed in the sand, get this bill up to my desk, and then you call and say, Speaker Bryan, pull the bill, I think there are a lot of people are going to say, well, which is it, Mr. President? This is the time that President Trump needs to get...
Richard, do you get a sense that they're close at all to getting this thing through?
No, because it was based on a fantasy all along, as your other guest, Mr. Slavitt, knows. And it's catching up with them, right? The chickens are coming home to roost. These assurances about we're going to have lower costs, insure more people. It was a fiction, and it's catching up with them. And the question is, who's ultimately going to confess to the American public that we misled you? Ron just talked about a line in the sand. How many times did we hear Donald Trump make fun of Barack Obama for saying he didn't observe the line in the sand in Syria? Well, 24 hours ago, he put a line in the sand, and it took that less time than that for him to basically, walk over that. So I just think it kind of does. They're going to have to step back. I agree. If not punt, they're going to have to huddle for a long time.
Well, I think you're right, Richard. I think, here they are. We're seeing members of Congress just kind of trundling out of off the floor there and heading off into various offices and meetings to figure out what is the next move. What do you think, Ron, is the best thing the Republicans can do from this point forward?
They should do a repeat of what they did last night. They should have a meeting of the entire Republican House Republican Conference and get in a room and say, we blew it. We blew the chance, we blew the opportunity to deliver a victory to the American people. Now what do? Bring the moderates in, bring the conservatives over, and say, what can we hammer out that everyone's going to get a little bit of something? And as you mentioned, the former HHS Secretary Tommy Thompson said, if you get 70 to 80% of what you want, you call that a victory. You put a flag in the sand, you say, you know what, we won, and you move on. But this, no. This punting, this pulling the bill, this is unprecedented.